In his narration, Tony Stark drafts up his autobiography. He goes over his corporate success, his vices, the places where he has lived, and how he is starting to feel his age, so he has decided to write his autobiography. He recalls how he bankrupted himself buying up Source Control's weapons catalog, and his attendance at the Hellfire Gala, where he butted heads with Fai Long. As Tony is tinkering with his Iron Man armor Model 70 in the laboratory at his brownstone, the arc reactor generator suddenly glimmers red and explodes, blowing up the building. Tony survives and is hospitalized, but a neighbor of his has died. At the hospital, Tony is visited by Jim Rhodes, Riri Williams, and Captain America. They couldn't find anything wrong with the arc reactor, but Tony suspects he was sabotaged. After being discharged, Tony pays off the funeral of his neighbor, Marielle Marcus, and swears to avenge her. Later, Tony meets up with Jen Walters to settle the legal fallout of the incident. People are suing Tony for damages from the explosion, including people who weren't in the city that day. Tony is on edge, and decides to pay them all off, even if it means further sinking his bank account. Tony settles in a depot for Bronson's cabs in Jersey City, where he rests and makes repairs to the Model 70, changing its faceplate as well. He suits up and takes the suit for a ride, ordering BOSS to pull up real estate listings to peruse. As he flies above Midtown Manhattan, Iron Man is suddenly attacked by an armored individual, and he realizes that the person behind his troubles must be somebody new. The attacker professes to be only a messenger, but doesn't appear to be involved in the brownstone's explosion, since he assumes Tony caused it. They trade blows, and the messenger throws Stark into a new helicopter. Iron Man catches the helicopter, he hits the messenger with its rotors, and then restrains him with a sludge deployed from his armor. After taking the helicopter to safety, much to the ingratitude of its passengers, Iron Man dropkicks the messenger into the ground. The messenger threatens to kill Riri, and insinuates Tony has an improper relationship with her. In retaliation, Stark crushes the messenger's arm, but it breaks in such a way it leads Tony to believe he's an unmanned drone. As he prepares to blast the messenger to pieces with a group of bystanders behind watching, Tony gets a hunch and decides to instead spray his attacker's faceplate with liquid nitrogen to tear it off. Stark cracks it open to see a man sedated and intubated inside, one his armor's facial recognition identifies as Elliot Buoncristiano, the owner of a messenger service reported kidnapping 2 days prior. BOSS warns Tony the padding in the suit is actually plastic explosive. Iron Man rushes to remove Buoncristiano from the armor seconds before it explodes, and takes him to a hospital. Stark realizes he was set up to kill Buoncristiano. In a TV nearby, Tony notices how the stock price of Stark Unlimited keeps plummeting. Tony winds down at the ruins of his brownstone with Chinese food and root beer. Now he is sure that somebody is targeting him. A pedestrian calls him out for littering, but Tony flies away, pointing out that the ruins will be cleaned up and sold off the next day. Tony next visits a church to join an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, where he drinks coffee. He leaves a few minutes early in a daze. He next leaves a bar, McAlexander's Pub, after waking up in the men's restroom, unsure of how he got there. As he walks down the street, Tony trips on a branch. He gets up and staggers into a light pole. 2 bystanders recognize him and film him as Tony throws up on the street. He falls into a heap for trash, and faintly calls out for help as 2 other bystanders surround him.